Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Jeeps here, your old composer at the World Music Reaction and Review channel. And as I continue my journey through OSTs, both video games and anime and all kinds of fun stuff along those lines. By the way, which I'm actually going to be starting to dive into movie themes and other things too. So, suggest those too as you see fit. But this one comes from a game called Undertale, I believe. And the name of this track is Megalovania, and by the composer Toby Fox. Now, I saw the image, which looked like an 8-bit thing guy, so I kind of was like, wow, this is going to be great. This is going to be like maybe a Mario Brothers sounding kind of stuff, from the old days, like from my old days in the 1900s. But then I looked it up, and apparently this was written in 2016. So perhaps I'm in for something very super cool. Well, so far I've been in for something very super cool with everything that I've listened to so far. Anyhow, I want to thank you guys briefly, really quick. People are buying me cups of coffee. Thank you so much for that. That's really super cool. Ooh, big motorcycle. And and asking about the headsets. These are AKG 240s. The links for the cup of coffee and the headsets are down below. Thank you so much for your support. It really does. I wake up in the morning with a big smile. A cup of coffee, somebody buys me, and a big smile. All right, here we go. So this is from composer Toby Fox from the game Undertale, and the name of the song is Megalovania. I think I said that right. All right, let's do this. This is so cool. Now I didn't, I didn't know what to expect. And obviously when it opened up with that really, old school style sound synthesizer, I'm thinking, okay, well, this is a little more of what I thought I would expect. But as soon as the drums came in, I was like, oh shit, these are live drums. And then as the layered arrangement started to build, it's really kind of complex. This is a complex piece. It's really fun, very powerful. I don't know where in the game this plays. Maybe it's a part where you're shooting things, or you're going through like a maze or something of that nature. But what I love is that he's got like 4 different memorable hooks in there, and it starts off with that kind of really cheesy bass line. I don't mean cheesy as in the composer, just that sound, I guess. And that gets you locked in. And then as he starts to build the arrangements, and then he gets us into more of a melody, probably at about 30 seconds, you start listening to other parts of the arrangements that he established, start taking secondary precedent in its hookiness. So now by the time I just got to this point, there were like 3, almost 4 different things that I was listening to that were reintegrated into the arrangement that maybe he started off with in the first 8 bars, or maybe a second section. He had this other melody that was going on. I loved what I thought was immediately when the melody hit, probably after the first 20 seconds, kind of sounded like a horn section, the way it was composed. Something else that's really super cool, and if you're a keyboardist and you have the ear for it, his modulation wheel, which can be used to kind of like vibrato. Well, he has it set to like buzz, super buzz. So when he rolls up that modulation wheel on a couple of these notes, it's I was like, I'm so in on this. This is really super sick. Oh, it went right into another track there. Sorry about that. I just thought that was just written so freaking well and so hooky. And I thought that I heard some guitar early on in the track, and I wasn't too sure because there was so much crunchiness going on with the hyper digital, or kind of modeling an analog synth, maybe with a digital module or something. So much grittiness going on that I couldn't really pull it apart. And I was going to say something about this on the stop, but then it was obvious in your face that there's definitely a guitar sound. It sounds like it's live guitar, but I don't know what the composer's choice was. I think what I love about this more than anything else is it does start off with that super organic, old school style of composition using these older synth sounds, which were very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very focused on melodies. That's what I loved about when I was young and I was a kid, before I was even going to think I was going to be a composer or anything. And I'm playing these video games and how hooky that was. A lot of these melodies really had to rely, or a lot of these games back in those 8-bit days had to really rely on super hooky things because of the limitation in which they were able to integrate music into the video games, I believe. Something like that. I think that makes sense. And so if you only had little synth lines, you only had, and you only had like such a small amount of file space to use in the game for music or some kind of sound. It was very melody oriented, and that's what this was. Keeps on sneaking back in and keeps on poking its head up as it did even at the end. But when we got to the section where it was just the drums and the guitar and the bass, I think it was a live bass, I'm not sure. But I was listening to the guitar sound, and it sounded like coming out of a smaller, like an older Fender amp, kind of. Maybe they modeled it that way, with just a more of an overdrive than a saturation sound. So it sounded pure. I thought this was produced fantastic. I thought if in fact Toby Fox's intention was to bring that in, and then as it moved forward, push us forward into, a little more of a modern composition and stuff, but still keep the integrity of this 8-bit kind of vibe. He smoked it on that one. It was just great, and I loved it, and you probably saw me bouncing around. There was a lot of fun stuff happening there. All right, guys. At the end of this week, I am doing that long campaign version of early Halo tracks to be about like an hour long. I do that on my heavy metal channel. It's called the Slow Burn. I'm not going to call it the Slow Burn here. I might call it, a campaign for something. It'll flex. But so be prepped for that. That's going to be the hot cup of hot chocolate, coffee, whatever you want to drink to sit back and chill out. And that's going to be really fun. I promise I am getting that out to you at the end of this week. You guys take care of yourselves. Leave the comments. Thank you for the support. I'll see you later.